Shalom, shalom. First off, I want to start out by giving all the glory, infinite praise and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that do rule and teach well. Peace, love, and salutation to the hopeful elect that is out there pushing this truth in all sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth, giving diligence to make your calling of election sure. Shalom. This is your brother Hashar from the Great Millstone, Savannah Camp. Coming back in the spirit with another lesson, Lord willing, I pray and hope that is edifying and exhorting. All right, and I want to go into this lesson. All right, going into the new creature that Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is going to make us. All right, and the Lord called us His battle axe, His weapons of war. All right, so a man is going to be, basically transformed, okay, into a new thing, to a new creature, okay. And I want to, just grab a few precepts to, back that up. It says, every man is brutish by his knowledge. Every founder is confounded by the graven image, for his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them. They are vanity, the works of error. In the time of their visitation, they shall perish. Right, these other nations, and including 2/3 of our nation, they serve idols, they worship idols. All right, but in the time of their visitation, when they call upon these idols, okay, they're not going to be able to deliver them. All right, but the Lord, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, right, which Yahweh Shai means He delivers, is a deliverer. Okay, it's an omen. It says the portion of Jacob, right, meaning the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. Okay, they are not like the heathen, which does, basically worship idols, right? And in this time, this represents the saints, all right, the Israelites, all right, those that have repented, all right, not only by circumcision, but by the faith, by spirit, okay? It says, is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name, Yahweh, the Lord of armies, okay? The Lord of armies is his name, Yahweh, okay? Yahweh of hosts. And when you go into that word host, it goes into armies, the heavenly host, meaning the chariots. All right. It says, thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. All right. Speaking about who? Jacob. Okay. Being his battle axe, his weapons of war. Now the Lord is he has an army as well. Okay. And these armies fought, and the heathen know the power of the Lord's army. Okay. It was well known. They know in the books, in the history. Okay. It says, for with thee I will break in pieces the nations, right? And this is speaking about, the nations of Psalms 83, okay, that have consulted with Babylon the Great, all right, to basically wipe the name of Israel out the earth, okay? It says, with thee will I break in pieces the chariot and the rider, okay, and his rider, and the chariot and his rider is speaking about Esau, all right, the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of, all right. It says with us, all right, not only the other nations, but those that have consented unto the chariot and his rider, meaning the beast in his system. It says, with thee also will I break in pieces man and woman, and with thee will I break in pieces old and young. All right, meaning that the Israelites are going to subdue the nations once again, the same way King David did. All right, this is why the tabernacle of David is spoken about, all throughout the scriptures. It says, and with thee will I break in pieces the young man and the maid. I will also break in pieces with thee the shepherd and his flock. And with thee I will break in pieces the husbandman and his yoke of oxen. And with thee will I break in pieces captains and rulers. All right, meaning everybody gonna get it. All right, ABG. It says, and I will render unto Babylon, right, the modern day Babylon, okay, Sodom and Egypt, okay, this current system that we're in, right? It says, "And all the inhabitants of Chaldea, all their evil that they have done in Zion in your sight, Yahweh saith Yahweh." All right. So the Lord is against the other nations. How is this, this doctrine coming out, and now all of a sudden the heathen can be saved in the New Testament? All right, that's replacement theology. Okay, that's secessionism. And it's a falsehood. It's lying wonders. Okay, and it ultimately the forwarding of white supremacy. Man, this is why we're so quick to dispel these things, man. Okay. Um, Moving on with the lesson, I wanted to get Isaiah 41, just to get a quick point. Isaiah 41. Yeah, I'm a, forget what I had searched, right? But I'm gonna start. I'll probably start with the let me see where I want to start. Yeah, I'm gonna start here. Appeal to the exiles, right? Meaning the exiled of Israel. It says, "But thou, Israel, art my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen, the seed of Abraham, my friend. Thou, whom I have taken from the ends of the earth." Right? The Lord was always with us, man. It says, "And called thee from the chief men thereof, and said unto thee, Thou art my servant, I have chosen thee, and not cast thee away. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy power. I will strengthen thee, yeah, I will help thee, yeah, I will uphold thee with the right hand, with the right hand of my righteousness." And what is the Lord's right hand? That's Yahushua. All right, so the Lord is going to deliver us, and He's going to use Yahushua. All right, we just read, basically that the Lord is going to make certain men on the earth new sharp threshing instruments. The Lord is coming to destroy, man. He's coming to subdue. It says, "Behold, all they that incent against thee shall be ashamed and conform and confounded. They shall be as nothing, and they that strive with thee shall perish." Kind of emulating what was said in Jeremiah about the idols. All right, these people that really don't they don't want Yahweh Shah. They don't want the elect to reign over the earth. Okay, they want they want the earth to go on as normal. They're gonna perish. It says, "Thou shalt seek them, and shall not find them, even them that contend with thee." Right, these hard head, stiff necked niggas. It says that they that war against thee shall be as nothing, and as a thing of naught. And primarily, this is it's a twofold scripture. All right, it's talking about them hard head niggas, but it's also talking about the other nations. Right, how they're going to be as nothing. We know our people are going to be something in the kingdom, all right, because they're going to come through our loins, through the elect's loins, all right. It says, "For the Lord thy power will hold thy right hand, saying unto thee, Fear not, I will help thee. Fear not, thou worm Jacob, and the men of Israel, and ye men of Israel, I will help thee, saith the Lord. And thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel, behold, I will make thee a new sharp threshing instrument having teeth." So the Lord is going to make certain men, right, which is specified. It said, "Ye men of Israel," that what? They're going to be a new sharp threshing instrument, all right, having teeth. And we read that what? They were going to be the battle axe of the Lord, man. Okay? I want to read, I'm going to come back to that. This is Psalms 18, and matter of fact, 18, Psalms 18 and 28, it says, "For thou wilt light my candle, Yahweh my power will enlighten my darkness." Right? what the Lord, will do to your life, man. Once you in His truth, He'll enlighten your darkness, man. Okay. It says, "For by thee I will run through a troop." The elect men of Israel are gonna run through troops, man. You're gonna see spiritual powers happen here on earth, man. All right. They're gonna run through a troop the same way, like the brother read this past camp, the same way Samson did with his jawbone, man. All right, the same way King David and his mighty men did to the nations. All right, it says, "For by my God have I leaped over a wall." This is I believe this is King David's letter. All right, how he leapt over walls, man. It says, "As for God, as for Yahweh, our power, right? His way is perfect, and the word of Yahweh is tried. He is a buckler, right? A buckler is like a shield or some piece of armor, right? It says to all those that trust in Him. So if we just trust in Him, we have our faith in Him rooted, okay? Being rooted in what we have heard, all right? The gospel, believing on Yahweh Shai, on His blood, and the fact that He was a perfect man that got on that cross for us, man. Hey, that is ultimately trust, man. You going out on the highways and byways, that's trusting the Lord. You trying to the best of your ability to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, that's trusting the Lord. Okay. It says for even listening to these videos, man. Okay, if it's not just listening, man, being immersed in the spirit. It says for who, and remember, through the YouTube, two or more are gathered in His name. You see? And the Lord said, if two or more are gathered in His name, He is in the midst. All right. It says, it is Yahweh that girdeth me with strength, and that maketh my way perfect. He maketh my feet as hinds feet. Now, when you go into this word, hinds feet, a hind is like a deer or like a goat, something with like hind legs. It has four legs. It's really sure-footed. All right. They can run, very fast. Even certain goats, when they climb mountains, they can just climb up a mountain. It's crazy how they can climb a mountain. So the Lord is going to give certain men hinds feet, meaning sure feet. You're not going to slip. You're not going to fall. You see, it's going to be beautiful, man. Matter of fact, I want to get that. I want to get that in a blue letter. Hinds. Psalms 18 and 34. Salakia. Yeah, hinds feet. Let's get it. Which is going to reiterate it in
Strong's H355.
In the
Ayal. Ayal.
Ayallah. Ayal, right? It says a deer or a doe. It says hind, right? So, when you look at a deer, they're very sure. They don't really fall. You rarely can see them fall. They can run really fast, right? So the Lord is going to make men like that on earth, okay? Let me keep reading. I like this verse. It says, He teaches my hands to war. See? So the Lord is going to teach certain men, who never been to war. They don't have an inkling of how to do it. But the Lord said He teaches them to war, right? And you got certain men whose spirit, goes back to those mighty men, whose spirit goes back to, men who fought battles, and won. It says thou are also, so the Lord is going to renew their strength. Right? We that's in the scriptures as well, right? Let's get that. Um, yeah, this one right here. It says, uh, yep, Isaiah 40:29. It says, He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might, that He increaseth strength. Even the youth shall faint, but the weary, and be weary, Salakia. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. Right? Meaning, and this really speaks to, the men that have been laboring, man. You know, certain young men, certain, older men, right? They've been laboring in the truth, okay? And it's it's tiring, man. It's a taxing job, man, for a prophet, for a minister, for a bishop. It's a taxing job, man. So, but the Lord said what? He will renew their strength. Okay, it says, but they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength, right? You're gonna get that former youth back. Brothers is gonna be youthful again. You're gonna they got that store called Forever 21, right? Because 21 is like the prime. It's like when you're, able to fight in the army. It's like the prime of your life. All right. So men gonna be forever 21 or like that perfect age, man. You know. And I went to see that movie, Eternal, right? And it had a few, just a few spiritual gems in there. All right, it was, hella boring, but it had some, a few things in there, man, because we are eternal. Lord willing, we be, of the elect of that number. We are eternal beings, man. We are, the spirits that were predestined from the beginning. Okay, so the Lord is gonna renew our bodies, man, and restore us and return us to our former glory. We go from glory to glory, right? It says, they shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Right? And this is going to happen on earth. The men are going to be doing miracles, man. And the scripture spoke about it, man. Even Yahweh, he said, matter of fact, what I do, they shall do in greater. Right? It says, Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do, he shall do, and greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto to my Father. Right? So, and we know that the books of Yahweh couldn't even be written. It was so many, miracles and works, they couldn't even be recorded. Okay? They couldn't even all fit into a book. So, the elect is going to do greater, you know? Um, and by sheer belief, man, you know, um, what do I want to get? Hunters. Yep, Jeremiah 16:16, it says, Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. And this is what the elect have been doing from the apostles on down for 40, 30 plus years. All right, in the truth, man, fishing for the elect. All right, throwing out the bait, being the word, being the sanctified word, the truth. All right, and those that are the fish of Yahweh Shem Yahushua who are meant to, get this truth, they're gonna bite that bait. All right, and become fishers themselves. Okay. It says, and after will I send for many hunters. That's why the elders were going over it this week at camp, how they were the ones that were telling men to, hey, you can't be a watcher. You got to go be a teacher too. Okay. You can't, and this is what's taking place. This prophecy is being fulfilled. It says, and after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rocks. Right. And this is pursuant to Amos, I believe it's the 11th chapter, right, where it said they would hide in the clefts of the rocks and the dens. right? And the elder Yashawama went into it how the dens. Matter of fact, let's just go get it. Amos, I think it's in 9. The unavoidable judgment. Okay. Yep. The unavoidable judgment. Yahweh's judgment unavoidable, right? And this is going into the gates of the nobles, man. Okay. This is a beautiful word. Amos 9:1. It says, I saw Yahweh standing upon the altar, and he said, smite the lintel of the door, that the posts might shake, and cut them in the head, all of them, and I will slay the last of them with the sword. He that that fleeth of them shall not flee away. That's beautiful, man. So the Lord is speaking directly to the elites, because they're the only ones that are gonna have the power to escape or try to flee the Lord's judgment, which is gonna come by way of those thermonuclear missiles, man. All right. Soon as this devil is about to achieve his enterprise, the Lord is gonna make him vomit it up. It says, "He that fleeth, he that fleeth of them shall not flee away. He that escapeth of them shall not be delivered." So how are they gonna receive salvation? How are they gonna receive salvation? So somebody's got to fit this lot. All right. It says, though they dig into hell, meaning the grave. When you go into this, all right, because I believe that word there is Shiloh, right?
Strong's H
Meaning the earth.
2864. Chafeh.
Or it's Hatar. Hatar. No, to dig. Salakia. Yeah, Shiloh, right? Or Shiloh, Shaol, right? It says a grave, a pit, the underworld, hell, right? And that's, that's simple as that, man. They're gonna dig into a pit. They're gonna dig themselves into a bunker, right? It says, this, I don't even know if this is the one he was talking about, but it says, though they dig into hell, mine hand shall take them. Though they climb into heaven, thence will I bring them down. And though they hide themselves in the top of Mount Carmel, in the top of Carmel, meaning a mountain, right? They got these bunkers. If you look into that movie, the House of Dynamites, right? They have underground bunkers that are basically carved into mountains. Okay, it says, I will search them, right? And this is what the elect is going to be doing. It says, and I will take them. Is the Lord going to do this himself? Is he going to come down from his throne and do this? No. All right, the elect is going to do this. It says, and take them out thence. And though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, you got different underwater, shelters or bunkers. The Lord is going to get you. It says thence, and a prime example of that too is that other movie, Millionaire Bunker, right? They were under the water, It says, thence will I command the serpent, right? And he shall bite them, right? And the serpent is the Leviathan, right? So those that are in the ocean, you're not going to escape, man. All right, the Lord got some in the ocean that's going to get you, man. It says, and though they go into captivity before their enemies, thence will I command the sword, and it will slay them. And I will set my eye upon them for evil and not for good. And the Lord of hosts, that he that toucheth the land, and it shall melt. The Lord of hosts is he that toucheth the land, and it shall melt, and all that dwell therein shall mourn. The Lord is going to touch this place, man, and it shall be raised up holly like a flood, and shall be drowned as the flood of Egypt. It is builded that his stories in the heavens, and hath founded his troops in the earth. And he called for the waters of the sea, and poureth them out upon the face of the earth. The Lord is his name. You see? So the Lord built up these kingdoms. The Lord gave these nations, right? For an example, Romans 9, pursuant to Romans 9, it says, "Are ye not the children of the Ethiopians, O children of Israel? Saith the Lord, have not I brought up Israel?" Right? Have not I brought up Israel among all nations like the corn that is sieved? Yet shall not the least grain of fall upon the earth. Right? All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say evil shall not overtake us nor prevent us. And the Lord is coming, right, with a great fear, man. You know, he's coming to and matter of fact, I missed the verse. It says, "Are ye not the children of the Ethiopians, O children of Israel, saith the Lord, who have brought out of Egypt, and the Philistines from Kaphar, and the Syrians from Kir," right? And when those nations got taken out, right, we were to inherit those lands, man. Okay. But what? Hey, we disobeyed. So some of us had to be destroyed. It says, "Behold, the eyes of the Lord are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob." Right? And then it goes into the sifting. So this captivity, right, is going to be reversed by unavoidable judgment, man. Okay? And this judgment is going to come upon the heathen, primarily Esau, Edom here in the west, right? He's going to get it, all right? And, the gig is up, man. I think I finished this. Oh, nope. It says, "Behold, I will make thee a new sharp threshing instrument," Isaiah 41:15, "having teeth, and thou shalt thresh the mountains and beat them small, and thou shalt make the hills as chaff." Right? Meaning the mountains and the hill are large populations of people, small populations of people are the hills. All right. So you have these G5 summits, the big countries meet. Then you have the smaller conferences where the other smaller nations meet. It says, "Thou shalt fan them, and the wind shall carry them away, and the whirlwind shall scatter them, and thou shalt rejoice in Yahweh, and thou shalt glory in the Holy One of Israel." All right. Why? Because the earth is going to be returned unto righteousness, man. Okay. So, I just wanted to do this quick lesson going into the promise. All right. The promise of, spiritual, divine intervention via spiritual powers. Okay. And the Lord's salvation of the elect, man. So with that, Lord willing, it was edifying and exhorting. I want to end off by giving all the glory, infinite praise and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash.